funny thing is,
Welcome, everybody, to Pick Central on the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube channel. I am once again filling in for Brandon Walker for a couple more days. Still not totally sure on his ETA, but I think it's going to be sooner than later, is what I'm hearing. And right now, I'm joined by Stephen Che. Rico and Ev are still on hot ice right now with Carl and Playboy Marty. They do that show on Tuesday and Thursday. And appreciate Mr. Che, full-time content these days, stopping by, and been enjoying following all your NBA Finals stuff. You're on the stream last night. Not the best night for the Celtics.
No, I mean, they looked like dog shit the entire night. I mean, it started early. They couldn't even hold on to the ball. Jason Tatum not taking a shot for almost the whole first quarter. Just a tough look for the whole team. I mean, Robert Williams, he actually played pretty well. But,
yeah, he's hurt. I feel like his explosiveness, because I know everybody was on that over 2.5 blocks that Dave and Hank did last night. I mean, he didn't play bad. He was getting a lot of putbacks, and he was active, but it wasn't – I didn't see like explosive leaping ability.
If you're losing a jump ball to Draymond Green, I don't know how you can really be out there as a center. That
was a bad sign to start the game. You've been so Golden State now leads 3-2. We'll get into the props and stuff in a second. Let's do a quick overview. I thought last night, like, Boston has so many young guys in their core. I mean, obviously Horford's older, but their core is all like 24, 25-year-old guys, especially Tatum and Brown. And I really think last night was the first time I thought they looked like fish out of water a little bit. In the moment, Game 5, NBA Finals, Jaylen Brown. We've talked a lot on this show how they kind of go how he goes. When he plays really well, they're unbeatable, but when he struggles – they struggle, and he was horrendous last night.
I think it was like 5 for 18, 5 for 19. I think he had 18 points and like 9 boards, but 6 turnovers. Just looked terrible the whole night. Even the shots that went in looked bad. Hopefully he can pick it up and we can see a Game 7.
Yeah, and we're now joined by Rico and Big Ev. They hot ice every Tuesday and Thursday at 11:30. Sometimes it overlaps a little bit into here, one gambling show to another. Ev, how are you today?
Mitzi, I'm pretty shitty. Pretty bad.
Oh, no.
Launched a nuke on Celtics last night. Feeling pretty brutal.
Rico, how are you today?
I'm doing okay. We ran a little late. There's a lot of meat on the bone with baseball, so we went a little late on that.
Don't explain.
Late start. I apologize.
You're good, man.
I know you're talking about the series. The question I have is the Warriors didn't really necessarily – like, I probably think this is somehow more than likely still going 7. But the Warriors also could have closed out last night too because they threw away Game 1. Right? Like, at this –
yeah, I feel like Steph –
I know everyone's like, oh, you're playing both sides. As much as I think this will go 7, the Warriors also could have won in 5.
I feel like Steph made up for that the way he won Game 4 on the road, though. But I know what you're saying.
That's the one that they kind of stole. But the rest of them, like, they buried him in Game 2. They handled him last night, gave back the lead, and then put it away again. So, like, that's a decisive victory. Of their 3, the only real one that's out, like, close was 4. And, they again, like I said, they probably should have won 1. You know what I mean? Like, I do think while this is going 7, you'll look back and be like, oh, epic series, the swings, and everyone had a chance. The Warriors, weirdly to me, probably should have put it away already. And that's also, though, the Warriors have looked like shit for extended periods of time. It's a very bizarre series. It is, to me. Like, I don't know. Do you think I'm overstretching that they could have closed out in 5?
I mean, certainly they could have if everything went their way, but I might be in the minority here. I think the Celtics are the better team. I just think that their bench players who helped them get here have really been no-shows the past couple games. And that, I mean, you saw the Warriors bench. Obviously Jordan Poole had a
Gary Payton had a good game.
Gary Payton had a good game. Everybody's coming in having a nice game. The Celtics bench completely disappeared, and obviously Jaylen Brown is going to take a lot of the heat because he's the big, one of the big stars. But their bench guys really have not.
Remember game 1, Al Horford and Derek White helped win it.
I mean,
they were
game
on
7 against Milwaukee. Grant Williams.
Horford was the MVP after game 1.
Yeah, and so they're not getting a lot of help on that front. I think Boston. One thing Rico, you talk a lot about this. They're just sloppy with the basketball.
Awful.
Definitely sloppy.
I mean, the
last 2 games they've just been like. And it's crazy when you watch too, because they keep having these turnovers, and even the ones sometimes when they don't turn the ball over, they're just these careless passes. They get tipped away, or even they're just sloppy, just not catching the ball clean. It's just very strange. I just don't, and it just seems like they, even with all this happening, they see it keep continuously happening, and they just don't tighten up at all. I just don't understand. They're such lackluster with the basketball.
Golden State's been a little ugly too. The other thing too is you don't want to sound like the old dad and in my day, but does it also feel like turnovers aren't mortal sins anymore? The way the game is played, you do take chances, you play fast. Back in the day, if you had 15 turnovers, or you're
gonna have more possessions.
Yeah, it does feel all right, we'll live with it. It's one of those kind of occupational hazard is not the right word.
Kind of like defense,
cost of doing business.
Defenses that are aggressive in football,
cost of doing business.
Catch some penalties from being too aggressive.
Absolutely, cost of business. Hey, we are going to play. Same thing. Yeah, you're right. Interference penalty. We're going to jam you. Yeah, definitely. So if we want to play fast, we're going to have some turnovers. I don't know. It just feels like the way the game of basketball is approached that coaches aren't really. They're not. I don't want to say upset, but they're all right, we'll live with it as long as we're moving, we're getting shots. It doesn't seem like turnovers are treated like that anymore.
I've got 2 quick points. First of all, Boston blew a golden opportunity with Steph shooting that bad last night. Yes. I mean, you are not going to have that happen in the NBA. First game in 232 playoff games, he hadn't scored had made a 3, and he couldn't stop launching them in the 4th. I mean, he stayed in and shot one with 40 seconds left, trying to get that to end that, to keep that streak going. And we just got to talk about Andrew Wiggins. I mean, he just dominated that game. And, his emergence in the playoffs, what it's given them, and also just his defense on Tatum and Brown has been spectacular. He does it on both sides of the floor. I thought he stepped up last night and was just phenomenal and was the key to the game.
He's been really good this whole playoffs, really. He played great D on Luka the other series. This series, you're okay, Steph's the best player in the series, I think by a pretty healthy margin. And then it's all right, well, who's the second best player for the Warriors? Clay was awful the first couple games, was missing just layups when Jersey Jerry bet on him. And who's going to step up? Draymond's been terrible. Jordan Poole's very hit or miss. And Wiggins has been that guy. Wiggins has consistently been the second best guy. And last night, he was the best guy on the floor. Better than Tatum, better than everybody. He was the best player on the floor last night, which is kind of what you expect from a former number 1 overall pick, but he just hasn't shown it.
He just has so much energy, the way he's just rebounding, he's just all over the place. And even just these just these powerful dunks, he's just been just cutting to the basket. It's been crazy. I want to see if you guys were seeing kind of what I was seeing last night. I almost feel I'm worried about the Celtics because I feel the Warriors. I feel have made some sort of defensive adjustments. I feel last night. It wasn't they were missing some open shots as well, but I don't think that was really all it was. I feel the Warriors were making it really difficult on them. It wasn't it was just open looks. They weren't falling. Obviously, I think they started 0 for 11 or 12 from 3 or something, but a lot of them were contested. Everything the Celtics had to get, it just felt it was so tough. Even when Jason Tatum finally got hot there for a second,
he was shooting making those Kobe fadeaways.
They were not easy shots. They were tough contested shots with a hand in his face that he was making and keeping them afloat. But I don't know. I just felt I just felt watching the game last night. The Warriors made. The more I thought about it after the fact, because I'd said I want to hammer the Celtics game 6, and now I kind of have some pause, really thinking back on the game, that I feel they just made some defensive adjustments that I feel just put them in a tailspin. I don't know how they're going to respond game 6.
Well, they're going to have to shoot better from the 3-point line because they started 0 for their first 11. That's horrendous. They missed a ton of free throws. I mean, you can look back at that game last night and the amount of points that were left out on missed threes and free throws. And a lot of their guys were missing open threes too. Pritchard,
for sure.
You know, they got to be
Actually, not even. Well, they also too. They had no
Pritchard
confidence.
was a disaster when he came.
And like they had no
I
confidence.
like
Like you,
Pritchard.
like so many shots that they usually like. I'm so used to seeing them just step up and take and make. Like even Jaylen Brown, Derek White, like all these guys that they usually, even at least just like catch the ball. Like you're gonna wide up a shot, you're shooting it, and they were just like pump faking, like dribble, like take a few dribbles into the paint, like kick it back out, like same thing. They all were just so hesitant. Every single one, besides really Tatum, I thought was like super hesitant. They just had no confidence, didn't believe in themselves in it. Like it showed. They weren't making. I don't know. It just was strange to me. Like I feel like I hadn't seen them like that lacking that much confidence really like ever. Like that team. Like they're always like they shoot threes confidently. They're a very good shooting team.
Tatum has set the record now for most turnovers in the playoffs in 1 year too. He has 95 in the playoffs right now. I mean, I know, like you said.
Yeah, and also
but that's still
you have to play a long period of time to get turnovers too.
Of course, that's what the Steph thing. 232. Yeah. When I heard that stat, I was like, that surely it's like 132. And like, no, it's 232. Crazy. Like it's freaking. 10 years of playoff games.
You touched on the Celtics -6. Oh, I'm sorry, Celtics game 6. Jerry said it as well. Is the line out? I haven't looked.
I'm gonna
it's been the same every game. I'm gonna guess it's Celtics -3.5.
3.5, 4.
Well, I think it might be.
Unless they readjust and it's
I haven't looked
2.5, 3.
It's 4. It's come out high.
I think that's what they literally every home game. The home team's just been 3.5.
First thing Jerry said, he goes, the whole world's gonna be on the Celtics -6. I'm so sorry, Celtics
game 6
in game 6. Is there a little bit of worry? Like you do think it's the perfect spot where everybody's going to be on the Celtics? I guess go across the board. Like
I think the championship medal of Golden State, now they're in Game 5 and Game 6, has to end. Like that's what Ev was saying with the defensive adjustments. And the point I made with Steven before y'all walked in was last night was the first time you saw the Celtics 24 and 25-year-old core look like fish out of water in the big spot. Yeah. And Golden State has that championship medal with Steph and Clay and Draymond and Steve Kerr. Yeah, I'd pause a little bit just with the momentum they've got. I mean, yeah, Boston's going to have the crazy home court advantage, and they very easily could win by 15 or 20, but Golden State's not going to be fazed at all by that crazy home court advantage. They're trying to win their freaking 4th championship. So, yeah, I'd say I'm pausing a little bit.
I have a good feeling about Boston in Game 6. Where I thought the game turned last night, and it was I think it was towards the end of the 3rd quarter, early 4th, when Boston kind of takes the lead, and obviously Poole hits that big shot. But Marcus Smart, he was really like the number 2 guy, and you look at Boston, and it's Jason Tatum, who's like fairly consistent as he's going to put up mid-20 points. Jaylen Brown is a little bit more streaky, but he's typically in that low 20 area. He was off last night, but the second guy that performed well was Marcus Smart, and he was doing really well. And then, he is a bit of a head case. He has a history of, going back to like Oklahoma State days. But he started getting some ticky-tack fouls, and then he got teed up, and then all of a sudden he's in foul trouble, and then he's not aggressive anymore, and he is mentally out of it.
That's a good point.
And I think that's kind of where the game turned, because it got away from them at that point, and they didn't have a number 2 guy after Tatum, and Tatum also disappeared in the 4th quarter.
Smart also brings the energy for him, too.
Yes.
I mean, I think just his energy in general.
Yep.
I mean, how could Draymond be allowed to walk along that bench, though?
That's crazy,
I mean, I just thought that was showing them up, I thought, real bad.
It's almost like
I
said it perfectly. He's got the longest leash in the league. Like, you
Yes.
can't walk the bench for that long.
I mean, he literally just stared him down for like 30 feet.
Yeah,
That's like the
Like,
definition
he
of
was in
insane,
the-
he was in the
right?
huddle.
I've never
He was in the
reffed
huddle.
NBA.
He was in the Celtics timeout
crazy.
huddle.
But just being
Like the tech that Ime got was crazy. The tech that Smart I thought was very was pretty like quick whistle. I don't know.
people are going to be like, oh, you're equating yourself to an NBA ref. Like, no, I'm just giving you ref mechanics at any stage of managing the game. The minute he starts walking, like you do the you could be like, yeah, yo, like whatever. You'd be like, all right. And once he goes past 3 steps, you got to hit him or you got no self-pride like as a ref. Like he put you in a spot where you had to tech him, and they didn't do it.
Was that going to be his second if they
I don't think of the game.
You shouldn't ever.
I don't think he had one in that
keep
game.
acting like an asshole.
Right.
I'm sorry. Like
Yeah, like I know what you mean. You can't give him the benefit of the doubt because it's so consistent.
It's the same thing. Like, don't put yourself in that position. These guys are good. Don't put yourself in that position to make me tech you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing. Like, you in high school or whatever, you fail in a class, you go to a teacher like, yo, man, like, how can you really It's like, no, you put me in this spot. Like, you got no room to fucking, what do you want me to do? You like those real life, you're new to Pixar. You like those real life equations, right?
I do. I like those.
Metaphors.
Steve, what were your props last night? You had the first basket. You've been doing that every game.
First basket I've been doing every game. We had some good streaks. right out of the gate, I was assuming he was going to start after his really good performance in game 4, but Kevon Looney I went with. Obviously, they void that, so I switched it up. I went with Looney and Wiggins. Looney's replacement, Otto Porter, ended up with first basket. But you look at it, and it's like, okay, shit. Looney's out. Whoever is jumping for Boston, which you're assuming is going to be Robert Williams, even though he has the knee, is going to be Draymond. And it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
the thing that I'm going to be most looking at for Game 6 is like, what is Robert Williams' actual stats? He played a lot of minutes last night. He played well given his limitations, but he just obviously did not have like the lift and the bounce that we've seen in other games.
Yeah, and he's been battling injuries for the second half of the year and fought through it.
I feel like he's even keep injured it a couple of times. He's taken a couple big spells.
Where
he's been holding the knee.
Yeah,
I feel like you saw it the most last night. His legs just look stiff, like they just weren't.
Yeah,
not as usual because he's so athletic when he's fully healthy.
But to answer your question, the prop I had out last night was Kevon Looney. I was with Big Cat on his over points rebounds since he picked up 3,003 minutes. The fact that Steve Kerr left him out there with 2 fouls in the first quarter after he got 2 very quick ones and just got the third immediately was horrific.
He never had a chance once he gets the fouls. And it's crazy because that little spurt he had, it was like he's doing everything.
Great.
If you got anything, getting shut out like that in the first half, you needed just 3. You needed 3 to give yourself a chance to like.
I didn't look at the updated Game 5, but through the first 4 games, he's been their best guy plus minus for the series. It's plus 36, which is really good. And he is what I think is interesting. And if I were Kerr, Draymond has been very hot and cold.
Last night,
I would leave Looney in with the death pool lineup basically because he can destroy Boston on the offensive glass. Didn't go that way, and obviously limited by fouls. But
Draymond did play better last night. I mean,
yeah.
He did. He wasn't a detriment.
That's the thing that's frustrating is that the guy is still a phenomenal basketball player, in so many regards, and what he can do. He had a real nice pass. He knows what he's doing. He can crawl in your shorts, play defense. Don't get me wrong. His offensive skill set has gone down significantly, but he's fucking unbelievable. But it's just dude, stop being an ass. He's just such an asshole.
I'm feeling he's obviously different and he's a better passer, but feeling like Dennis Rodman vibes from him now. Almost in a way,
He wasn't always like that, but it seems like
he's lost his shot. He can't, but he's.
Can you name another player that with age has gotten to be a worse shooter? Because when in his prime, against Cleveland, in the finals, he's in the mid to high 30%. I think it might have been 40% one series.
Did something
now he's
shoulder or
way worse. I mean, he missed a lot of time this year, and then kind of came back right before the playoffs. I don't know. Is it an injury? I'm not really sure, but he is horrific.
I mean, he's even he's done Ben Simmons, where he's got a basket right under he's got the ball right under the hoop. He's kicking it out.
Right. Yeah.
One last night, he literally
look at the
it was wide open. Literally, just that's a layup off the glass.
Crazy.
He just immediately gets the ball, swings it out to the perimeter. It was crazy.
Had that been a turnover or a missed shot, and they end up losing the game, that is going to be something.
Oh yeah, I mean that was shot. Even obviously he's not looking to shoot. He's at this point he's their 4th option on offense, but even 5th sometimes probably when he's on the court. But that one was stunning.
Right, distant 5th sometimes, but he was their 3rd. That was the 3-headed monster.
I mean, he used to score 14, 15 a game.
100%. And what they've stumbled into, if they can get his, because I was asking Big Cat, or he mentioned it last night. He's Wiggins, it's kind of rectifying his career. I'm well, has he had that bad of a career? He's yeah, well, he was that guy who scored a lot of points on bad teams. I'm well, the alternative to that is that he doesn't score a lot of points and he's on a bad team. So at least he was the losing element, him being on a bad team, you weren't going to get rid of that variable. At least he was putting up 20.
I think it's more the draft position.
Yeah, that's totally fine. But I also think he can be now the significant 3rd option.
Yeah, he's perfect for
with him and Clay, Steph and Clay as Steph gets a little bit older,
right?
As well, they've really kind of stumbled into something where Wiggins is a 3rd piece who's legit.
And it's also because of the way they're designed with Steph and Clay, they don't have to ask him to be a primary scorer, which he's not comfortable with. He can fill up the stat sheets, D you up, rebound. His energy's everywhere. Score 15. I don't know. It's just he's put in the right position to succeed, where he doesn't have to be the number 1 guy.
Hypothetical. So I think most people in the beginning of the series, or even kind of now, are expecting this series to go 7.
As we're talking, I have concerns.
All right, we'll play along with this hypothetical. Okay. It goes 7. Steph obviously had a bad game last night. Probably going to be his only bad game. But Wiggins has been phenomenal last game and the game before and been pretty consistent throughout the series, especially with Deion Tatum. If he has two really good, 25, 15 games in a row and Steph is a relative no-show for him, does Wiggins have any shot at a Finals MVP? He was 60-1 pre-series.
I think he has a shot to be the most impactful player and what won them the series.
We've seen
Iguodala
win.
Does he get the hardware? I don't think so.
And
So your point, I'm totally agreeing with your point.
Yeah.
And like you look at the story, who won them the series? It's Wiggins. I don't think he walks away with the hardware based on what Steph has done. Like Steph's got a lot of wiggle room now.
Yeah.
He's got to be really he's got to
Right.
be no show.
Let's also not forget Steph. The game 4.
Game 4 is incredible.
He won that game 4 in the road.
Yeah.
Game 1, he was on fire even though they lost. Remember that first quarter? Game 2, he shot I don't know. I don't think he does. I just think, we'll see what happens. I mean, Steph may have to come out, and if he has if he doesn't make a 3, it's going to have to be something atrocious.
I believe it was like minus 400 to win.
Yeah, I think the live right now it's minus 400. I think Wiggins was like 20-1.
Yeah.
If honestly, if Steph had just gotten that first one, I think it'd be a different conversation. But
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. Like they're just like ever since then, if you look like they just give it to the best player on the team like throughout the season, no matter what. It's just kind of like it is. It's like it is what it is. It's tough.
Yeah, everybody's
I think it's a
harping
good
on it.
It's been a great bet. Like there's like the value's been there. Like you clearly your eyes were on the right. Like you were right there, but
Yeah.
it's just tough.
I mean, everybody's harping on it too, like, oh, he hasn't won an MVP. But he's also a good enough guy to gauge if other guys are getting hot, whatever. He's not going to play hero ball and fucking submarine.
No.
Like, let's give him a little credit with that as well,
Yeah, I know people love the storylines on the Finals MVP stuff. I'm sure
That's like the only thing you got on the guy.
that's what I'm saying. I'm sure he's quite happy with
it's
this
literally,
situation.
it's literally going to be if they win, it's going to be like his lifetime achievement award. Like, he's also averaging like 30 a game in the series still.
Yeah.
And he's also just the way they fought because everything that happened to them after they made the 5 straight finals with 3 titles, 15-19, the Clay stuff.
Probably should have won.
That made up just the all the way comeback they've been able to execute. When everybody thought they were getting older and they lost Durant and they were able to.
I'm doing Brandon Walker's show tonight. I'll talk a little bit about the I don't want to put the ring on their finger yet, but let's say that the Warriors do win. Like, is this more impressive of a run as the Spurs? I know the Spurs went really long, but this is much shorter, and they're about to potentially get their 4th. Like, at what where do you put the Warriors as far as like all-time dynasties?
High.
Yeah, I know.
Very, very high. I think. I can't think any higher of because when you look at the West has been way, way tougher than the East this entire time too. During this, they've got to get a ton of credit for that. They're literally in their 6 finals in 8 years, and then 19. We know. I know it's championships all that matters, but everybody got hurt in that Raptors thing.
And everybody got hurt in 15, so cancel those out. The one that really is the one Draymond got thrown out of. I thought they should have got another one in that.
But they still went 3-1 against LeBron though, and so
yeah. It's like you talk about with Brady. Like Brady's Super Bowls to me are kind of accurate because he probably stole the Rams one, but also shouldn't have lost the 2 Giants ones.
And the way he played in the Eagles, he played awesome.
Why shouldn't he have lost the Giants ones? What happened what do you mean he should have lost them?
When you're a 9 or 10 point favorite, you would think in his history,
but he lost.
I got you.
He had the ball at the end. He didn't score.
Yeah.
All right.
They also won.
You also should have won the Eagles one when you're playing Nick Foles. So
why should he?
He stole
why
the
should he have
Seahawks one, the Falcons. Like if you look, it probably evens.
But I'll say even the Eagles one. Why should he have won? Just because he's Tom Brady? Should have won.
It's getting heated. All right.
No, I'm in a real debate.
He played.
Foles played his ass off.
I got Brady played his ass off.
Brady played great, of course. But I'm saying I don't think he should have won.
If I would have told you
lost.
he has a chance to win a Super Bowl against Nick Foles, or he has a chance to win 2 Super Bowls in 4-year span where he's going to be a 9 to 10 point favorite, you probably think he's coming home with it, right?
Well,
I get what you're saying.
Of course.
But he also won. He was a 14-point underdog when they beat the Rams.
Yeah, so that
greatest show on turf.
Rams and the Giants even itself out. Seahawks with Carroll doing that.
Yes.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Atlanta is don't get me wrong, they won. That's kind of
I don't know. He got to get credit for the Atlanta.
100%, but that's a crazy fucking comeback, 28-3. Again, at halftime, you tell me he's going to be down 28-3. You think he's coming home with the hardware? No.
23 in the third quarter.
What's up? Okay.
Well, the 23 was third. They had the pick 6 in the third quarter, that extended it.
Yep.
I'm always gonna.
I'm just saying.
Always gonna defend
yeah,
them.
yeah, you're right. 100%.
I don't think it like.
I'm just kind of evening it out.
I will say
you know what I mean?
the helmet catch was fluky. I call that desire.
I think the
He was
Warriors
letting
have
the ball hit the
a
ground.
true count right now. I actually think they're short. If they win this one, I think they're short one. I think the one with Draymond. I think 15 and 19 cancel each other out because I thought they were better than the Raptors. But the Draymond one,
I don't know if you can count this as part of the dynasty though, because like they had 2 years where they're in the lottery, and I understand that like there were injuries and stuff like that, but like if we're talking about like great dynasties, all right, 2 of the years absolutely sucked.
quick reminder: who did the Spurs happen to get because David Robinson got hurt when they
Duncan,
built
yes.
it? So, the breaks go. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, I would start their dynasty when they beat the Knicks with Tim Duncan,
Okay.
and David Robinson. I wouldn't necessarily count like the 71-point David Robinson as part of the dynasty. He was leading scoring.
yeah.
Mincy called into the Dave Portnoy show.
Little college baseball talk. I love this camera. We can just like live narrate what they're possibly. Usually it's Rico in this seat. How is it for you to be on the other side? It's like 90% of the time it's you in that seat and us watching.
Just watching the gerbil. Yeah, no, it's been.
But we
quiet
usually we
summer.
can't hear you, but
Yeah.
we usually just judge you off your facial expressions.
Yeah, I haven't been too hot recently, but yeah, I mean, he's giving out his fucking PowerPoint right now. Like why it's justified he's going.
He's up 50 units.
He's killing. He really.
No, he's done
for
very
everything
well.
he's getting fucking trash on. He's killing.
No,
fucking college baseball.
even like he hit the huge parlay, but outside of that, he was doing very well as well.
Yeah.
We're on the game.
Grow the game, pick by pick.
What was going on with you and PFT last night?
It's just fucking there for 3 hours. Like he was
He sent
piling
the
up.
dogs out.
Like, listen, you got to be a statistician every once in a while. You notice a guy's jumping on the pile, fucking call him out a little bit. That's
It was crazy to say use your challenge in the first quarter.
okay.
Although I agree.
Okay.
I agree with your
I get
sentiment
it. And
that
I
it was
totally
clear.
get it.
I agree with your sentiment that it was clear he clearly tripped over his own feet. If that didn't get overturned, that's like the worst call in NBA history.
Right. Did the
Like,
Celtics
he wasn't even touched,
did
but-
the Celtics even end up using their challenge? I don't think they did.
Did Golden State use one at the end? The green light was going off.
Golden State they did for the Draymond one.
Okay,
Golden
yeah,
State did.
And they
I don't
and
think
they
the
didn't.
Celtics ever
Honestly,
did.
Right.
They might
It's
not.
also use it or lose it. I get it. It's don't get me like everybody. I'm sure all the commenters. You don't know basketball. You don't know. Okay, I get it. In a situation where you can 100% take points off the board, it's where you should suggest using it. That's all. And if you notice, I wasn't like screaming and yelling like use it. I was just like, oh, they're not going to challenge that or think about it. That's all.
No,
That's where I'm at.
I just know it's just funny because I know you just like kind of threw it out there.
Yeah.
And then obviously Dave and Dan like get on you.
Right.
And then I know how you are. You get in that like you get in that mode that you get instantly. You have to fight back. Like you're like devil. Like you don't back down from the take. You like you
Right.
rise up into the take.
But it wasn't a full blown like war, and it's not something like right now. Like I don't really care about it. It's just
No, and that's because I know you well enough to know that. I'm like, you kind of just got put in that spot where you just like threw it out there. They jumped on you, like they just put you in the corner, and then you had to just throw fists back. Like you had to just like I'm saying, obviously,
Yeah.
You had to back up your take.
yeah. It's one of those again. Like I would look at it. That's all. Anytime you could take points off the board is where I would do it.
I think that's where I'm a little bit in disagreement because, like, yes, if you're challenging that and he obviously trips over his own feet, he's going up for a layup. He's at the line, so he's shooting 2. But Gary Payton II is a bad free throw shooter. So, like, he did make them both. So, like, we're playing the results here. But
Yeah, you're right. There's 100
first quarter
variables.
thing aside, it's like nobody's necessarily in foul
All
trouble.
right. So then, does it change it this way if he does lay it in? Hypothetically, he trips over his own legs. He does the Golden State play. They just throw it at the rim. It goes in.
check Mac.
So they just throw the
Right at the hoop. Throw it at the hoop. No, I think just like I think like
Totally get it.
they should have used it on the Marcus Smart, Jordan Poole thing because that threw everything off. That was a clear flop. I think if they review that, they reverse it. Now Smart, instead of having 5, has 4.
Right.
Doesn't get teed up. I think it was like right after that, or
Well, I don't think you could take the. Well, that's what's weird.
but I don't think that happens because they're like instead of that, it's like, all right, we're gonna
I would
challenge
challenge it real
It's
quick.
like,
You're
all right,
right.
he's gonna shut up and let the process play out.
It's just one of those again. Like I said, like it's just looking at every situation in basketball.
Sure.
That one I honestly would have been more afraid of them not overturning that, even though I think overturning it would have been the right call.
Yeah.
Like that's one. I don't know. That just felt like to me like it just felt like one that they would have got fucked over. But I wouldn't have hated. Like, I don't think the challenge would have been like a bad challenge. I think it clearly wasn't a foul.
Yeah.
And he also Poole initiated the contact.
Yes. I mean, he did a smart thing. Like, he kind of knew the wheels were coming off of Marcus Smart. Let me try and.
Because the only thing that I thought at the very end, even though he didn't make contact, Smart kind of did one of these. Like, he threw his arm out, and it almost looked like he just like grazed his chin, and that was like Poole did the snapped his neck back a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been just enough for them to leave the call.
Right. If I remember, this was right after Klay Thompson does the full arm extend.
Yes,
and hits the three, and then the wheel, and that's kind of the sequence that I'm pointing to. Is
they kind of just unraveled. They just were so, which I thought the refs leaned the Warriors. I complain on Twitter when I lose big bets, so I bitch. I need my tweet after the game to vent, but obviously that wasn't the reason they lost the game at all. They just played like shit. I'm worried about we're coming back to circles, but I am worried about the Celtics the more and more I think about it.
I think it's going 7.
I need 2 days to get my head and figure out what I want to do for Game 6. But
the point you said too, so the Celtics have looked like the better team. On the flip side, the Warriors, don't get me wrong, have definitely looked like shit for an extended period of time. They're still up 3-2, and Steph went 0 for 9 last night.
Yeah.
So let's count all the things. Like I said, if I told you Steph's gonna go 0 for 9 from 3 in Game 5, who's winning?
Right.
Oh yeah.
He's taking the Celtics.
No brainer. Yeah.
So again, they win that one. I don't know.
I thought last night was a must-win for Boston, just because not necessarily you had to steal home court back, but you can't waste a bad Steph game and lose.
Right.
It's coming back around. I would expect the role guys, I would expect Jordan Poole, I would expect even Wiggins to take a step back a little bit from Game 5 and Game 6, but Steph can put you way over the top.
I think it's Derek White, it's Grant Williams, it's
the moment just looks too big for all.
They just in the Garden in Game 6, they have to shoot well. They need to not be they need to not pump fake and sit there and question themselves. Just pull the trigger. They shoot. I'm pretty sure they shoot more threes than anybody over the season. As a team, I think they shoot either the most threes or one of the most threes. You got to just pull the trigger.
Yeah, but that's to be expected.
They've lived and died by it all year. You got to live and die by that in the big moments. Obviously they were bad last night, but I think half it was because they were so hesitant. You got to just shoot.
Yeah, to his point though, the bright lights can get to you a little bit, I'm not discrediting the Celtics in any way in this series, and it takes a lot to get to the party. Now the Celtics are at the party. It's just like what Ben was saying too, that championship pedigree. The Warriors just know how to navigate. We talked about it with Memphis, right? And they lose that Memphis game, and everybody's like, "Is this a bad look?" Don't get me wrong. For certain teams, I would have pounced on that. You've never been there when they're waving the towels. If the Celtics did, it's you guys haven't won anything yet. Don't be so confident. You still got this series and you're good to go. But the Warriors weirdly have been through it all. Hey, we're gonna have a laugher. Yeah, we're gonna lose by 40. We're all right. So the Celtics definitely get a lot of credit to me to getting to the party. And in the NBA, you have to get there. I mean, you look at the history of the Knicks. The Knicks just got there the one time. They never really stayed in the finals in '94. It's tough to be a mainstay in the NBA and get to the finals. I think the Celtics can kind of be the kings of the East of what they're building potentially. I know it's I got the Bucks, I got the Heat. It's good. So I'm not discrediting the Celtics in a long-winded explanation, but it seems like these guys aren't. You see the inexperience in a finals game, and that's kind of been the difference.
I also think their health is not getting talked about enough, because they just played 7 games against the most physical team in basketball in the Miami Heat with PJ Tucker and Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and everybody. They're getting beat up in very low scoring, very classic Eastern Conference games. That goes 7, and then they go right around.
It's actually ironic, because that's what happened. I feel like happened to the Rangers at the end of that series against the Lightning too, where they'd played 7 2 in a row, and then they hit Game 5 and 6 against Tampa, and I just think they were out of gas on offense. And I think maybe it's kind of a similar parallel. So that's the second time Rico, you're a mainstay on the Portnoy show. That's only the second time I've ever been on it. They were both kind of Omaha related.
Ev was trying to lip read. It seemed positive.
The live camera.
No, it was. So he brought me in. I'll just
tout your record. You should have tout your record right from the get go.
Yeah,
even hit the chair.
It wasn't even about Omaha. It was really more just about. He's like, "What's going on with this MILF thing with Billy Football?" And he was like, "What's going on here?" And I was like, "Look, I mean, everybody knows." I was like, "You can ask Big Cat PFT. If y'all were on the streams last year, I would always do the Man I Love Fall or Man I Love Football. Y'all remember this, right?
I remember
the MILF thing. PFT. I mean, it was a thing.
Yeah.
And then I look up and I see a freaking Man I Love Freedom shirt, 4th of July merch, and dude, Billy lives across the hall from me. I mean, that's kind of like stealing Content. So I had a little chat with them, and I said the only way to make this right is when the Man I Love Fall and Man I Love Football shirts come out. I expect you to push them with all your social media powers and help us sell these damn things. And because I was like, that's the only fair solution to this.
What did
You said that to
Dave, I said it to Dave. I said, look. I go. The only fair thing here is when the Man I Love Fall or football shirts come out.
They're out?
Yeah, well, with the Freedom ones are out. We're gonna come out with the Man I Love Fall.
Oh, got it.
But I said when those come out, Billy has to use. I mean, I told him like he has to use all his social powers. And Dave's like, well, you mean pardon my take? And I said, man, I can't speak for that. I was like, but I can't speak for Billy's 200 and something thousand Twitter followers. And Dave was like, yeah, that he liked what I was thinking, but he didn't.
You were telling Dave you owe me to plug.
That's what I thought you were saying too. Like Dave, like you better
That's
fucking
an
sell
old
these
time.
shirts.
No. And Dave was.
You would have done it. You should have asked.
No, Dave was laughing about it. He's just like, what is that? He's like, what is that? Like, well, what's MILF stand for? Trying to get me to say mothers I'd like to. And I was like, older women that have children that like to have relations, because I wouldn't say it. It was funny, and he kind of mentioned Omaha and had the odds up. But yeah, it was good. It wasn't bad or anything.
When do you leave? Friday?
Thursday. So Omaha.
Day or night?
Day. So Omaha, I think I'll leave at like 2:00. So I don't think I'll be here for Pick Central. But so we got the 8. We got one half of the bracket. You want to talk about as much of like classic colleges and fan bases? Notre Dame against Texas and Oklahoma against Texas A&M. I mean, that is like. You think blue bloods and fan bases and traditions, not even just baseball, across the board. Texas now, Rico, 38 out of 75 College World Series. Now. That is one of the craziest stats. Over half the College World Series ever, Texas has been to 38 of them now.
University of Texas.
Yes.
Not just state. Okay, wow.
No, the University of Texas is 38 of. That is a.
I was trying to discredit it.
What's up?
Are they the favorite to win it all?
I need to. Well, Dave had it.
So
up.
they were plus like 400 because the team.
So after Tennessee, all the value, and I actually kind of, I make a lot of bad gambling mistakes, and I admit it. So I'm going to enjoy my good moments. The future market was insane because of how overvalued Tennessee was. The value, I got freaking A&M 60-1 when they won the SEC West. Now they're there, and then I got Arkansas 25-1. Before the Super Regional against Carolina. So I got 2 live shots in there, and like all those odds when Tennessee went out, they all just shrunk. I mean, it's like crazy what that does. But I was trying to pull it up, but I couldn't. Maybe it's because we're in New York or something. I don't see it on the app right now. So if you do see it, Rico, let me know.
Well, no. So what I was trying to actually not discredit you like I was attacking you.
Stanford and Texas are both plus 400.
But it's like I was trying to think like programs that have made Elite Eights in college basketball, and you would think it's more like 30. I was like, 30, like they made half.
Well, what's weird?
That just doesn't happen.
Well, it's just so weird. Well, first of all, college baseball is a lot different than going far in college basketball because in college basketball, you think Final Fours. College baseball is designed where if you make Omaha, it's like the middle equivalent of making the Final Four, and it's 8. You know what I mean? It's
No,
nobody talks about the Final Four.
To make half, yeah. I mean, the college,
Yeah. To make half, though, is crazy. So I'll quick just run through of it. So Texas, Notre Dame. I think both of these teams are designed. So Omaha's a different game, Rico, because the park's really big. College is a lot of smaller ballparks and balls fly out. You see home run balls land before the warning track in Omaha that would go out in a lot of parks. And then freaking whoever the damn architecture was for this new TD Ameritrade 15 years ago, they designed it and didn't realize the wind blows directly in out of center field in that Dust Bowl in Nebraska. How could that happen? Freaking how many hundreds of millions are going into this stadium? You can't factor in that, it keeps balls in play. So Omaha, it's weird, but it's almost a different game because it's like defense and keep the ball in play and try to win 4-2 a lot when we've seen 14-12 college baseball games everywhere. And so a lot of teams struggle to adjust to that are like the home run or strikeout types. And so Texas, small ball, good pitching. They fit it well. Notre Dame relies on pitching and defense. Notre Dame also, because of the extra COVID year, they've got like 23-year-olds all over that roster.
I was just going to ask you, who's the 2015 Royals that are just going to death by contact somebody?
Yeah.
Because it's a big ballpark.
Yeah, see, I feel like A&M is like I don't think their style works really well here. They don't have good starting pitching. They've got a good bullpen. They really make pitchers work. Like, they do a good job, like walks, get on base, clog the base pass. but I'm concerned that they're not set up. Oklahoma's got a really good lefty ace and a guy who could be a major league closer right now that throws like 97 hits his spots. I'm worried about that for A&M in my future in that first game. I think Oklahoma may be the play.
Actually, they're the two lowest. Like, they're plus 750 and plus 800. Like, they're the two worst odds.
Yeah. Dude, Oklahoma has NC State 2021 vibes all over them. They ran through the Big 12 tourney, which is one of the top leagues, and they ended up a 2 seed in Florida. I mean, I've bet on them every game in the NCAA tournament. Went through Florida, won. Went to Virginia Tech, won. They've got Peyton Graham, their shortstop, their 3-hole hitter.
He's awesome.
I mean, he may be the best player in the tournament. That Tanner Treadaway, their cleanup guy, went 4 for 4 with 2 homers and 2 doubles Sunday. Their closer's a monster. They've got a good lefty ace, and their number 2 pitcher, Cade Horton's really good. I think they are really people have been sleeping on them the whole time. They're designed incredibly, incredibly well. Other side of the bracket, man, what an SEC West party. There's 7 teams in the SEC West, and 4 of them made it, and then Oklahoma and Texas are coming in a couple of years. But Ole Miss, Auburn, I mean, I got to be honest, like Auburn is really hot, but that's a fantastic draw for Ole Miss. Ole Miss won 2 out of 3 there when they were playing bad early in the SEC. Auburn can hit and mash, but they don't have like super elite pitching. I was really happy to see Auburn win because that Oregon State lefty ace was going to be a big problem. So I was happy about that. I think, dude, I mean, I know I sound like a homer, but Ole Miss has found an awesome 1-2 in Dylan DeLucia and Hunter Elliott, and they've allowed 11 runs in the NCAA tournament total. And when those 2 guys are out there pitching well, Ole Miss has a chance in any game with either of those guys.
What are the other 2 on that side?
Arkansas and Stanford.
Okay.
Dave said he's got Stanford 12-1. Look, don't get me wrong. Stanford, total blue blood. They've got a lot of talent. Brock Jones. They've got this cleanup hitter who's a freshman from Mississippi named Braden Montgomery, who's actually from Jackson. Dude's like 20-something homers and then comes in late innings and throws 97 and just gets like moved like from another position. I mean, just a freak. But I hate to like sound selfish on this, but when what we're trying to do, growing college baseball, Stanford's the worst thing that can happen when they win. No one cares. They're a private school from California. They bring 800 fans to Omaha. Like, what you need is these SEC teams. And Notre Dame, I think, would be good because they've got I expect them to travel to Omaha. You know, they hadn't made it in 20 years. I think that'll be a thing. But you really want the school fan bases that care. Like, I mean, as much as I hate Mississippi State, like them winning, they had 30,000 fans at the championship.
Yeah, we don't need software fucking startup guys.
Yeah, exactly. And Cali's
Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And Cali, they're just not the same, you know. So, but I think it's Arkansas making it's great. Auburn will bring fans. Ole Miss will bring a ton of fans. And then, I mean, you're literally looking at a matchup. Texas in Game 2 is either going to play Oklahoma or Texas A&M no matter what. They're two biggest rivals ever. They're playing one of them. And there's also potential, some things, Rico. Father's Day could be Texas A&M in Omaha.
Ooh.
Casey's going out there. She's dating.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but that is, that's pretty fun. But we got a good crew going. I'm just super excited to get back there, man. Ole Miss making it, man. I don't feel like the story. Mississippi State goes and wins with Walker last year, and then Ole Miss gets there the next year.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Like the modern day Manning brothers.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if
back to back.
Yeah, back to back. Yeah, it's just that would be, man.
Stars are aligning.
I know, dude, and I feel like. I said this. I feel like I'm on this like life heater, like 2 years long that just doesn't stop.
Life heater.
No, it's crazy. It started like way before I was even at Barstool. Like I was unemployed during COVID, just playing online poker, and I won like $15K in a tournament, and then I like got hired by ESPN Baton Rouge, and then got hired by here, and it just like keeps, like it's wild. It just keeps building. It's the best. Oh, there's Billy's getting called in, and he's wearing the shirt. That's some shameful shit. Oh, you got the DILF shirt. That's okay.
I should be the DILF guy.
Did you get called in the Portnoy show too?
I
No.
think Dave walked out.
Okay, Dave walked out. I just got called in and addressed our beef.
Oh.
Yeah, Dave was asking all about it. So
I mean, what was the conclusion?
Conclusion is when the fall comes, you're going to be pushing me out little fall shirts to help support this.
Okay, I will. That's the deal.
Yeah,
I promise.
that was.
Billy, are those Football Hall of Fame?
Yeah, dude.
Socks?
Joe Namath Jets.
I do like those. I'm a
They're
fan.
sick.
I do like those. I'm a fan.
They're sick.
Good socks.
But that's a deal, so we can talk again and be good neighbors again.
Yeah, as long as you promise to use the Billy Football social media powers. To
We'll pump it. We'll pump
okay.
it.
Yeah, we're okay.
Rico looking beautiful as always. All right, have a good one, guys.
Brokering deals here.
Yeah,
Mending past friendships. Now friendships again.
fair enough. But anyway, all right, NHL. I want to touch on. Do y'all like the light?
Sorry, I gotta run to do
No,
something.
Hey, take it easy, Jack.
I have no idea.
I just think do y'all think the Lightning plus 160 or whatever in the series has value? Are you kidding me?
It's
Vasilevsky?
getting the Lightning as a dog, right?
Yeah, but they got the
plus
goalie
155,
Vasilevsky. They've got the
yeah.
best
Gotta
goalie
take a
ever.
shot.
And they've already
Gotta.
won 2 in a row.
Yeah, and you saw it with the Rangers. Like, all right, you want to fuck around? We're down 2-0. All right, we'll show you why. You know, don't get me wrong. Fucking Avalanche seem like the better team.
It seems like Dave asked me this in the rundown. I was like, obviously, I'm not a hockey guy. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, it just was crazy to me that the Avalanche were, I think they're minus like 195 for the series, which is wild. That seems just wide, especially when you have a team like
You got to take a shot.
Tampa, who's literally won 2 in a row, has a great goalie. It seems to me from a like casual fan that the Avalanche have been just an absolute wagon. They just score a ton. Like the goalies, I think, to my understanding, he's outplayed what kind of his like reputation was. I think his name's Mike Smith, or last name Smith.
I know the Smith one was there was one on Edmonton that was bad. That was really bad.
Maybe I'm thinking. I don't know. Well, everyone here knows I don't know shit about hockey.
Yeah.
But
I just feel like
I don't think anyone can fault you for taking Tampa plus 165 for the series.
That's my point. I mean, it's just they've almost they've got the champion. Talk about the Warriors pedigree thing. I mean, this is their third one. They're plus. I'm seeing plus 148 right now.
Oh, so it went down.
That's all it is, huh?
So it went down. It was because when I checked right before the show when we did rundown yesterday, like middle of the day, and they were plus 165. So they must be catching some money for sure.
And then I'm looking at the odds. Look, I'm no hockey guy. I've watched more hockey in the last 4 weeks than I have like in my entire life. Steven Stamkos is 13-1 to win the Conn Smythe, which is the MVP of the finals. That son of a bitch is good. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good price. I mean, he scored both goals in Game 7 against the Rangers. The favorites are Vasilevsky's plus 425, so he's the favorite for Tampa because obviously if they win, it's going to be because him holding Colorado down.
You know, Avalanche's offense is great.
Yeah, McKinnon's plus 220. So
He's the one guy where it's funny with like certain sports. Like obviously, like you said, like we don't know hockey very well, but McKinnon a few times in this playoffs has done things that made me say, "Wow!" When I don't fully understand what's going on, but you're still just like, "Wow!" Like there was one goal he had that I think I said on the show when I came in the next day that he literally felt like he had like rockets on his skates. Like that guy is so fucking fast.
man, I'm just
So fast.
I got, like I said, I caught the bug this year, but man, I'm gonna make the NHL. I don't know that I'll be like watching regular season game. You know, I'll glance at them in the future. NHL playoffs from now on, I'm in.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely good
fun
to
to
have
gamble
on. It's
on,
good
too.
TV. It's good to have it on TV. There's an element too of like sudden death,
Oh, the intensity.
but
Awesome,
in constant action.
yeah.
Like you don't get that. You have sudden death in the NFL. You know, or fucking overtime, whatever.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you'd have sudden death, obviously in baseball, but like the 1-1 pitch doesn't. It's not guaranteed to be. That's the pitch. 1-2. Like it delays, right? Basketball is free flowing, but there's a clock. It can only come down to. Hockey, there's that element of like, and you watch it. Everyone keeps talking about like overtime playoff hockey. Like, there's that element of at any second somebody's season's fucking ending. Or somebody's win, or
one mistake.
Like this series
1 inch
is
the wrong
swinging
way.
in one fucking swoop. And a lot of times, like I've tuned into hockey, you look away, you got the other screen, like, and here you go, you're watching somebody celebrate. It happens that quick. I know it's like
I'll tell you one other thing.
It fucking happens that quick.
One other thing about hockey that I really appreciate is when you watch basketball and football, the last 2 minutes of games have so many stoppages and no flow, and the hockey game flows. You don't.
Yeah,
I mean, every now and then you'll see like a very occasional timeout. But like you know how those basketball games go with the free.
100%.
I mean, it's
and
like it just flows. It's so much cleaner.
Yeah, I love basketball, but it's there's a timeout, there's a setup,
There's
like
fouls.
There's just that element of like a fucking elephant in the room at all times for 20 minutes of an overtime period in hockey, of like something really good or something really bad is gonna happen, and you have to address this. Like you might not want to talk about the elephant is in the room. It's just that, and you see it with these teams playing. Like it's an interesting watch. It's definitely an interesting watch for hockey.
Yeah. Well, let's touch on what's going on with hot ice, and we can run that into our picks today.
Yeah, we were pretty good. There's a lot of dogs out there.
I took 4 dogs today.
Yeah, I think Carl was talking about just kind of mixing them all in. There's one like just principle. Garrett Cole's going. You got the Rays at plus 190.
I took it. Yeah.
The Rays. You said I'm saying.
I said on hot ice that I was like, obviously I'll never bet against the Yankees, but the Rays at plus 190 I think is disrespectful to them if I'm being totally
the
honest.
A's are a huge dog.
And they have Kluber on the mound, very good pitcher. I mean,
Pirates are a huge dog. Like there's a ton of meat on the bone here of like looking at dogs in baseball.
That
happens every day, but it's just, there's definitely a ton today as well.
I'd like to just, I've had, it's been a college baseball thing, but I'm literally switching my strategy in baseball gambling. Like, I'm just taking plus signs from now on. Because, what I've seen, and obviously I've been hot in college, and that's, unfair to say, but when you just take plus signs, when you go 1-2, you barely lose anything because you get plus 140 and you're down 0.6 units. You can damage control. When it goes wrong, it doesn't go. When you lose 3 or 4 favorites and you're laying $1.50, $1.80, I know we always talk about that on here. Man, you can just get body bagged. And so I'm really it's worked in college baseball.
Yeah.
I was pounding the +1. That's part of how I got up so many.
The other thing we talked about too. So when you lay 1.5 and it's still small minus odds. Or, you don't want to lay the 180 money line. It's definitely not a long-term great strategy. But if you really are dialed in on a team that you think's going to kill them or explode, move the line with the Barstool Sportsbook to 2.5. Move it to 2, where now you change the minus 107 to
I did that.
I'm just saying, there is an element. And again, you talk about limiting damages. You lose those. You're only losing one flat unit. You can win 1.45 or 2 or whatever, moving but you're really only losing. You're limiting your losses to a flat 1.
I did that.
That's kind of the element of why I said it as well.
I did it with Stanford yesterday. Stanford UConn game 3. Stanford was minus 250. I mean, I hate laying 250, but I was like, they're gonna kick the crap out of UConn's game 3 pitchers, and I laid 2.5, and they won 10-5, and it was no. College even more because so many runs are scored.
Yeah.
The run lines, you could probably do that a little more. But yeah, that's definitely interesting. Let's get to picks for today. Doesn't matter. I guess, Ev, you want to lead off?
Sure. I've been cold. I've been ice cold. I've been trying to.
Marty last night.
I've been pretty bad.
I'm just trying to figure it out. I don't know. I just did so well baseball last year. This year I've been so bad. I'm trying to figure it out.
Still a lot of season.
It's tough though because we're
season.
breaking it down the right way. You're on. How many 1 losses did you take? Run 1 losses.
I'm much early. The ball isn't bouncing.
Yeah, no, it's just how it
but it's
goes.
been tough.
I'm
not running. I've been struggling.
I'm gonna make you feel better. You won for 8 or 9. I mean, you literally from April through December, you had no losing month. That's an incredible.
I think
stretch.
that's almost made it worse on me. I think I literally thought I was gonna win forever. I was winning for so long. I felt like I was gonna keep winning, and it's just been. The last few months have just not been good, but
I ran super hot.
We're keeping trying to keep the train on the track. I actually like a few overs today. I said my highlights too. The 4 picks I have today. I have the Brewers Mets over 8. I got the Orioles Blue Jays over 9. I feel like it's silly. And Padres Cubs over 10. And a dog today. I like the Rangers. I like the Rangers a lot today. I like the Padres Cubs over. But yeah, I like all these plays. But the Rangers Padres Cubs is probably my favorite play. I think they both pitchers give up a lot of home runs. The wind's blowing out in Chicago.
Hit parade as well.
Yeah, and the hit parade as well. I got
due.
So due. It's plus 150.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that's
We've gone 2 out of 3. We've got guys
Jordan Alvarez, Jose Ramirez, and Trey Turner.
What you got today, Rico?
I'm on the Rockies as a dog. They do really well at home.
Same.
Yeah. Houston, Texas over 9 is my best. I'm sorry, 8.5. That line moved finally back in my favor. Over 8.5 is my favorite play of the day. Hit parade, and I'm also on the Twins. Joe Ryan's coming back from COVID. I'm worried about his stamina a little bit. But I like Joe Ryan, the Rookie of the Year. He's having a great season. And I would also take a stab, like I said, at the Marlins. Phillies can't win every day. Or the Rays.
You seen how low that total is in the Twins game?
What is it?
It's 7 because Gilbert's been out of it. Gilbert's been
when you used to get Kershaw against DeGrom, I've seen 6.5s.
I've seen a couple of those. Yeah,
it's very rare.
Gilbert sneaky. I think Logan Gilbert's for the Mariners has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Damn, I kind of regret taking the Twins now.
No, I don't think it's because Joe Ryan.
No, Joe Ryan's good.
Joe Ryan's
very
unbelievable
good.
as well. He just had COVID, but he was favorite rookie.
Yeah, he could win Rookie of the Year. His
really,
odds,
really
he's
good.
back
really
to
good.
he's back to.
That's why the total's 7. Both pitches are awesome.
He's back to 20-1 because the kid from Houston's gonna lock it up.
Yeah, Pena's been great.
I got 4 underdogs today. Last night I was 2-0 in college baseball. I had Golden State on the show, and I switched to Boston, and I switched to the parlay with Dave and Hank, and so I blew my good night because I don't know crap about NBA apparently. All right, so today, 4 underdogs. I'm switching my baseball strategy to just taking dogs. The Rays plus 190. Ev mentioned it. The price is too good. And Cole, he got shelled last time. He hadn't been the Cy Young guy this year.
He's been streaky. He was a great.
He may be due a really good outing though.
He had a bunch.
Last one.
He had 6 really. He had started off bad. Had 6, 7 really good starts. Then got shelled in that Twins game. But yeah, he's been
worst ERA in the rotation.
Yeah, worst ERA in the rotation.
I took the Rockies plus 148. Same theory as Rico. Yeah, Shane Bieber's pitching, and the Guardians have been really good. But, man, anytime you give me the Rockies plus $1.50 at home, I'm like literally just going to take it blind.
Ready for this? 100 more runs at home scored. They're only 500. They're only 16-16. 100 more runs scored at home for the Rockies, and they hit 40 points higher at home.
Yeah.
Batting average-wise. So.
No, it's like that every year.
Yeah.
And I took the Twins plus 102, and I took the Brewers plus 130 just because I thought, not that I had like a strong feel on the Brewers, but I thought it was just a good price against the Mets.
TJ, was I mean to you? Why does Ben get the Twins at 102 and I got him at plus 100?
That's what he texted me at.
Yeah,
Fair.
I got it in at 10:30. I tried to do better with getting them in the morning.
He answers straight across. I can't even.
That's the question you got.
Like, buy into it a little. Whatever.
Other stuff the rest of this week. Like I said, I'm going to Omaha Thursday. We're still figuring out plans, but we got good crew. Carl, Jake Arrieta, Casey. Should be fun. Colin's going with us for starting 9. I'm looking forward to doing some starting 9 content with Carl and them. That'll be fun. Yeah.
Is there going to be any point of the situation where you're like, hey, Jake, like I know you know pro baseball, but I'm fucking killing college?
Well, it's funny,
you're riding co-pilot.
What's interesting, though, Jake Slosh, who's the A&M coach, coached Jake in college.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
so we got a good tie there.
If we were going to, a divisional series, I would want Jake's input. Like,
yeah,
you're right. Who's driving the bus here?
Well, yeah, I think Jake's like, so Jake's son is playing in there's some huge tournament, just like monster national youth tournament in Omaha this weekend that his son Cooper's playing in. And so I think it kind of just worked out good that he was already going to that, and so he can go to Omaha, to be honest. But, yeah, just super, super pumped about it. Can't wait. NHL Game 1 tomorrow night. Game 6 is Thursday night. Also want to mention this. U.S. Open in golf starts Thursday.
Yeah.
Bring some U.S. Open stuff tomorrow. Let's have a good.
Let's
we'll talk a good bit about that tomorrow because it was kind of this. I knew it was about to go on, but then I looked up last night and they're like U.S. Open. I was just like, oh crap, like that's going
in
on.
Boston.
You see
really?
The only video I've seen is a guy chipping out of the fringe. And they let the U.S. Open's always obviously hard.
It's in Mass, right? It's in Boston.
In Mass,
it is, right?
without knowing golf is. He chips it, hits it literally like 3 feet, and this thing rolls like fucking 30 on the. It's like glass. The greens are glass. The grass is high. It's gonna be a difficult course.
I always enjoy watching that though.
It's
like watching the pros hack it up like common people.
It's always the perfect thing too. Like it's Father's Day. You go to your dad's for a barbecue. It's on. It's even better when it's prime time.
Yeah.
But they're not going to go against the finals, so if there is 7, so it is what it is.
Well, I want to thank Steven, Shay, Rico, Ev, Zah, and TJ as always. Stay tuned. The Yak is up next. We'll be back tomorrow. Like I said, bring U.S. Open stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna make that a thing tomorrow.
Rico Bosco on the Brandon Walker Show tonight. Call it.